Welcome everyone to this lecture uh, on industrial engineering. So today we are going to start a new chapter called inventory control. So let's begin. So the basic idea behind inventory control is that we want to build a system where wherever raw materials are introduced into the production system, they are used in an economical manner. So inventory in itself uh, has a definition, which means that it is basically a list of all the goods which are going to be, or list of parts which are uh, movable and which are used in the manufacturing of the final product. And basically, they are used directly or indirectly. So these are the main things which define an inventory list. So there is one more definition which we can talk about. Okay, it refers to a stock of items which an organization holds for future use. So all these are basically parts of inventory. So it is very important to maintain all these items in a particular space where they have to be further processed and converted into a final good. So first we have already discussed what is definition of inventory. Next we'll discuss what is classification. How do we classify inventory? So inventory can be classified on the basis of their function. Basically whether they are some kind of cycle stock. Uh, by which we mean is that it is a stock which regularly goes up and down in the plant. Uh, for example, in the month of June, we have a requirement of 50 parts, and in the month of July, we have a requirement of 45 parts. So this requirement it is yearly. That means every year in the month of June, we require 30 parts of that particular item, and the month of July, it certainly rises. So it is a periodic function. So this is kind of cyclic stock, which is a routine demand. Whereas we also have safety stock. So safety stock is mainly used in managing the whatever uncertainties which we have in the system. So that is also very important that we have a prediction of what is the variation in the uh, product usage is going to be, or either part usage is going to be. So there is also one simpler classification which is direct inventory and indirect inventory. So by direct inventory we mean is that the items which are used directly. For example, raw materials which are classified as RM, work in progress inventory, and finished goods. All these are counting in direct inventory. Then we have indirect inventory, which are basically something called like lubricants in manufacturing, let's say some part. So there we need to use indirect inventories. So they are not part of the final product, but they are used in manufacturing the final product. And For example, if you are sawing wood piece, the piece of wood, you are a carpenter, and you're sawing in the half. The saw becomes the indirect inventory. We need use of different kinds of saw. So that become part of the inventory. But it is not a direct one because we are not going to sell the saw to the customer. We are going to sell uh, the wood, the cutted wood pieces to the customer. So that is the direct inventory which we are referring to. The next topic which we are going to take is type of direct inventories. So we have uh, raw materials. We also have components, sub-assemblies, and finished goods. So all these are your direct inventories. So let us go through them one by one. So raw materials mean the basic raw metals, like things which are used in manufacturing our product. For example, in manufacturing of a car body, we need the steel blanket. So steel is the direct inventory. Then we need nuts and bolts. So nuts and bolts are your components. And then we have sub-assemblies. So sub-assemblies means that the car door assembly. Uh, so that is a manufacture that is arranged somewhere, that is assembled somewhere, and then it is bought near the car and it is attached to it. Then we have finished goods. That is the total. That is the final production of cars, which is then stored in the whatever layout we have. So that is a finished good. So that is by direct inventory. Next, we want what is inventory control. That is our topic. So inventory control means that basically uh, we ensure that the right quantity of the product is available at the correct time at the right place. That means, let's say if I want to manufacture the car door assembly, which I was talking about. So every car door assembly needs a window. It needs that car button. That is the window operation button. And if let's say it's a luxury car, so it will have four operation buttons on the handle of the uh, driver side seat, and all these buttons they form part of the inventory. So we want that when the car door sub-assembly is being assembled, then all those four buttons are present at the right place. Then we also want the right quantity of the materials. We don't want five buttons to be uh, attached to the car door or three buttons to be attached to the car, and also at the right time. We don't want to rush to the final production line. That is when the car is whole produced. There we are attaching the car window button. So earlier it could be done probably when we had manufactured the car and the button was like a instead of a button we used to have handles. So car door handles they are like some mechanical movement is there. So even if the whole car is manufactured, you can attach it even after the car is uh, produced as a whole. But now we need to assemble them before the whole production is done. That is also important. And then eventually we also want to do it at minimum cost. So we ensure uh, right material or right components are placed at right place at right time and at minimum cost. So this is what inventory control means. The objectives of inventory control are basically minimizing the carrying cost of the production. And it also prevents stock out. That is, the number of items do not go below zero. That is what is the definition of a stock out is. We want to maintain production, smooth production flow. That means that if let's say two or three items are converging at a particular item at a particular point in a production line, then there is no uh, hindrance to the flow of production of the car which we are producing or whatever product we are producing by the hindrance of blockage of items in one of the lines. So this is kind of common problem. Let's say if you're producing, let's say, um, a mobile phone. So in that mobile phone, let's say if there is a shortage of battery, lithium ion battery shortage is there. So that may cause a disruption in the smooth flow of uh, whole production process. Then we also want to optimize procurement and storage. That means that we are not uh, buying a lot of products at once and then storing them at our plant, even when they are required after a long, long time. The procurement process has to be done in such a way that whenever we are buying the product from the vendor, then he delivers that product only at that time when it is needed. Storing them unnecessarily in the plant is not a very good decision. It leads to all kinds of problems because we have to maintain the product in that particular shape so that it can be fitted. We have to provide security for that product or that particular component before it can be fitted in the final part. So that is very important that we procure the product only or basically have a procurement policy which serves us or serves the factory only when it is needed, just right before needed, ideally speaking. And also, it's not like that we do not need any kind of storage space. Absolutely, we must have some storage space uh, to have what we say safety amount, so that in case the vendor is not able to provide the product, vendor itself has some disruptions, then how we will be able to continue our production flow. So they all require very pragmatic decisions. Then we have some common inventory control techniques. The inventory control usually will have some terms like EOQ. EOQ means economic order quantity. So this is what is referred uh, in the product procurement stage. That how much items of the product we want to procure. A very common term, EOQ. Then we have weight analysis. Weight analysis means Weight analysis means we divide a product in three parts: vital, essential, and desirable. Then we have ABC analysis, we have FSN analysis, and then we have some JIT analysis as well, just in time. All these are inventory control techniques, which we'll talk about later. Then we want to discuss that what is the cost of inventory accumulation. So both of the things which we are referring to, accumulation and depletion, both the things can happen. So when we accumulate more than what is required, there will be cost like storage cost. We'll have to store the product for a longer period of time. So it would mean that our warehouse costs go up, our rent goes up, all those things. Then we have capital cost. Capital cost means that once we have invested capital in procuring a product, then it is stuck with the product unless the customer is able to uh, furnish the order. So that means our capital gets tied up. So there are two kinds of cost, major costs, which is the storage cost and then the capital cost. Then we have costs regarding obsolescence as well. Obsolescence means that if we have procured a product, it is possible that before its use, it may get obsolete. So it would contribute to the uh, lost money in basically running the factory. Let us take an example of obsolescence actually. So, for example, in case of cars only, uh, lots of cars are coming out nowadays, even today. So, what about the cars which were coming out 5 years ago? What they had, what parts they had manufactured for them? So, when we plan such kind of big scale production, we don't want the car parts to fall short at some point. Although you might have heard that case sometimes there is a scarcity of spare parts in the spare parts for a car. But sometimes when the spare parts or any other parts which are manufactured for a particular car are produced more than they are required or more than what is was actually demanded in the market, then after the product cycle of the car runs out, those spare parts are not used anymore. So although it's important that we produce spare parts because a lot of times the cars they may go through different processes. Let's say if we want to upgrade a car, so the same bolt which is fitted in the car, we need four more bolts or five more bolts, and basically the chassis of the car it only supports that unique bolt which was produced for it. So uh, In that case, we will have to take a decision that what is the cost of accumulation versus the cost of not having that particular part. Then we have handling cost as well. Each part needs to be placed in the hands of uh, the factory worker who is going to put it in the car. So we'll have that extra cost to bear. Then we also have cost of inventory depletion. Cost of inventory depletion is easy to predict. You have lost the orders, lost customer, production stoppage, back order cost. Back order cost is quite typical when your product inventory falls below the level of what is required. So, and the vendor is not able to furnish the particular inventory which is required for production. So then the vendor will charge a back order cost that okay, you want the product earlier than what was planned, so it will cost you additionally. So then we have idle labor and machine time and so on. So today for today we are going to discuss only this much. Thank you for joining. Have a good day.